मनोविश्वं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सगण ललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna. So as Shankun Prabhu suggested, I'll quickly go through. There are two lectures of His Holiness Rampa Swami Maharaj. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So there are two lectures of His Holiness Rampa Swami Maharaj on 3 point. This is the last 2.3.25 to 5. There's the last sloka of this third chapter. And then there is a fourth chapter, sloka number 1 or 2. So Maharaj gives two lectures on 25 and then the first sloka of the next chapter. So I will just quickly summarize first Srila Prabhupada's purport on this. It's a very small purport, just couple of lines on this. 2.3.25. Translation goes like this. O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please, therefore, explain this to us as it was spoken by the great devotee Sukadeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Parikshit Maharaj upon being asked. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Knowledge explained by the previous acharyas like Sukadeva Goswami and followed by the next like Sutta Goswami is always powerful transcendental knowledge, and it is therefore penetrating and useful to all submissive student. So here, particularly in the purport, it is said that what is the impact of the transcendental knowledge on a submissive student? Because the knowledge explained previously by acharyas like Sukadeva Goswami and then followed by Sutta Goswami is always very powerful transcendental knowledge because it is coming in a disciplic succession. And the knowledge which comes in a disciplic succession has that potencies or the power to penetrate to those students who are very submissive. And then the listener also should be, their hearts should be very, the penetrate the hearts of the sincere and submissive listener. So it is also mentioned that the person who is actually listening, he should be also very submissive. And that actually the result of that particular thing is that it gets penetrated. And then finally it ends with this, that a change of the heart is the result of a genuine devotional service. So when Maharaj starts speaking on this particular shloka, he gives the summary first. Actually, there are two lectures. One of the two that which I refer is that Maharaj gives the summary of the chapter 3. So Maharaj says that the entire third chapter builds up to this point, how devotional service transform the hearts. Here we see that it is penetrating the heart and which is useful to the all submissive student. And before this is the 2.3.24, which is considered as the shloka, the still framed heart, a heart that does not merit despite chanting the show of deep spiritual stagnation. So the process of devotional service, which is the subject of the chapter 3, Maharaj says that is the verse by verse describing how to engage the senses in such a way that they connect with Krishna. And in fact, in the middle of this chapter, it is said that when Parikshit, the sages of Naimisharanya, they are asking Sutta Goswami, please tell us about more about the Harikatha. Please describe more, speak about Harikatha, because any other activities than hearing Harikatha actually steal away one's lifetime. And it is very wonderful sloka. Ayur haranti vai pumsam. That if you are not hearing Harikatha, then it actually takes away the life of the pumsam, living entities. And then in the negative sense, it is said that what is the use of that particular personalities who is not hearing Hari Katha? And then there are many shlokas actually goes limb by limb description of such animalistic person. The couple of them are that what is the use of that ear holes? It is compared to the holes of the snake who is not listening about Hari Katha. What is the use of those eyes who are not getting the beautiful darshan of the Lord are compared to the plumes of the peacock? What is the use of that leg that is not going to visit the take darshan of Lord Hari? Those are compared to the tree's trunk. And overall, the person who is not engaging in Harikatha and engaging in devotional service is compared to a dead body. And of course, finally, the shloka 24 before the shloka, that what is the use of that heart which is still framed? It does not changes even after once chanting the Lord's holy name. And therefore, please speak the Hari Katha that transpires between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So Maharaj gives the summary, and then next Maharaj speak about particular very nice thing that Atha Videte Anga Mano Anukulam. Mano Anukulam. Maharaj speaks a lot about Mano Anukulam. Mano Anukulam means very favorable to the mind. So Maharaj says that Prabhupada uses mind and heart interchangeably. And mind holds, so Maharaj says, what is the role of the mind? Mind holds conception like thinking, feeling, and willing. And how one can actually dissolve this material mind, because the whole topic about this is that uh, penetrating that heart, which is the steel framed heart. So then Maharaj says that the dissolving material mind into spiritual mind. How do you know that? When the material mind is completely dissolved, when the spiritual concept is fully assimilated by the mind, and the mind, according to the third canto, Maharaj says that the material mind gets dissolved. Now the question will come, how to do that? Maharaj says it's very easy. How to do that? To absorb the mind in Krishna's pastimes, Krishna Guna, Rupa, Krishna Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela. And then Maharaj says that glorifies both the personalities, Sukadeva Goswami, who is the speaker, and the hearer, listener, is Maharaj Parikshit. Both are glorified because it's the very wonderful combination of the speaker, qualified speaker, and a receptive listener, where Krishna Katha is the topic of that. And when both are very qualified, it is the ground for the spiritual transformation. And that is how the sages expresses, please tell us more, and which is important spiritual mood for a mood of inquisitiveness. Jidnasu Shreya Uttamam. So that is how Maharaj quickly gives the summary of chapter 3, which is nothing but that um, the senses, the devotional service which transform the heart. So this is the whole third chapter, which builds up to the point that it is only the devotional service which transform the heart. Otherwise, we are wasting our human form of life, which is the shloka Ayur Harati Vai Pumsam. The living entities are wasting their useful human form of life, which is a very, very rare. Durlabha Manusya Janma. Then it goes to the text number 1, which is now the process of creation, more technical stuff. But in the beginning, there is what happened now. If can you now somebody may say, is there any case study for that? And this is the particular case study of Parikshit Maharaj in the text 1, because how he now taken to the next level. So Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Sri Krishna. So there are two, three important words here, and Srila Prabhupada focuses on one word is the satim. The satim word Srila Prabhupada, so I'll just first summarize the purport. Satim means Prabhupada says that it is existing or chaste. So it has given two meanings. Prabhupada has given the two meanings, and both are very applicable to Parikshit Maharaj, because he has been attracted to the Lord from the very beginning of his body in the womb of his mother, and the king continuously concentrated his mind upon Lord Krishna, which made him perfectly chaste in devotional service. That means his mind did not go anywhere. So that is what Prabhupada actually focusing, that existing and chaste. Chaste means satim. Satim, the word chaste is actually coming from the word satim. Chaste means is that he did not focus his mind anywhere else, exclusively for Lord Sri Krishna. And then Prabhupada actually gives in this particular paragraph the natural sequence. What is the natural sequence? The natural sequence is that a chaste devotee, and who is a chaste devotee? Like Parikshit Maharaj, who is exclusively focusing his mind and concentrating his mind. That is the topic of this shloka, concentrating his mind on Lord Sri Krishna. Then what happened? A chaste devotee, he naturally hears from spiritual master, in his case Sukadeva Goswami. And what was that he heard? The topic that here, that one should worship the Lord only and no one else. Exclusively one should worship Lord Sri Krishna, and his natural affection for Krishna was strengthened. And that is what Prabhupada actually focuses here. The natural sequence is that a chaste devotee, he hears, and what he hears, that exclusively love for Lord Sri Krishna. And in the second paragraph, Prabhupada gives that how to become a pure devotees. And I think we all aspiring for that. There are two things Prabhupada says, that the first things are, two things are very much essential. And the first thing is that birth in a family of devotees. And then Prabhupada is giving the example of Parikshit Maharaj, because he was born in Pandava family. And so that is how he was fortunate to have that birth in the family of devotees. To become a pure devotee, the first condition, that birth in a family of a devotee. And of course, Maharaj talks about how our younger generations are, they are very fortunate to have this one covered. And the second thing, that what Parikshit Maharaj had, in addition to have a prerequisite or to become a pure devotee, is that blessings of a bona fide spiritual master. In his case, it was Sukadeva Goswami. And Prabhupada quote Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So devotees are naturally drawn to Krishna, but the third point, the third step, in addition to become pure, that one should focus his intensified concentration mind through the good association and application. And that is the third point, that so this beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam gives the wonderful case study of Parikshit Maharaj. After that, His Holiness Rompa Swami Maharaj summarizes this shloka number 1. We have 6 more minutes or some more time. The Maharaj first focus about Satim. So there are two words here, Satim and Matim Krishna. Sati means chastity in a devotion or exclusively love for Lord Sri Krishna. And then in Nectar of Devotion, the definition of the pure devotional service. And as I remember, when we were doing Bhakti Shastri, Her Grace Prem Tarangini Mataji has shown that example of what is the pure devotional service definition, and she has drawn that the primary characteristics are 3, and then there are secondary characteristics. And the core, the primary characteristics she has drawn in the heart of everything, is that Anukullena Krishna, exclusively love for Krishna. And that exclusive love, so Maharaj says that when we have exclusive love for Krishna, following that, because we have exclusive love for Krishna, now whatever come from Krishna, that actually then we get attracted to that. For example, when we connect to the root of everything and the other things that comes in that, we also get close to that. And that is what Maharaj says, that because everything comes from Krishna, our love should be exclusively for Krishna, nothing else. And that is all inclusiveness. And true love for Krishna is not a scattered among other interests. It is very, very focused, pinpointed, exclusive love for Krishna. And then Maharaj gives the example of Mother Yashoda. She was actually anguished when Krishna was taken by Trunavratam. But we see here, though the result was actually not pleasing Krishna, but the intention was that, and that is the pure definition of the pure devotional service, that it should be for the in the intent to please Krishna, for favorable for Krishna, and we see that exclusive attraction for Krishna. So that is how Maharaj explain the word satim, which is exclusively love for our dear Lord Sri Krishna, and that is the chastity. Just like Parikshit Maharaj has shown, the similarly it is expected in the following the footsteps of Parikshit Maharaj, or those who are reading, getting inspired, that one should be trying once in one's life exclusive love for Krishna. Then Maharaj uh, summarize the first paragraph from the purport, which is Parikshit Maharaj Matim Krishna, concentration of his mind unto Lord Sri Krishna. And then Maharaj says that Parikshit Maharaj not only he heard, but he faithfully applied that instruction. This is very important. He applied his mind, because it is not like automatically his mind was attracted to Krishna. To advance in Krishna consciousness, Maharaj says that there is some effort required where one can direct his mind. And Parikshit Maharaj, in his whole life, he concentrated his mind, and that is the third point. So the first 2 points are birth. Second is the to get the blessings of spiritual master, and the third thing is that he concentrated his mind on Lord Sri Krishna. So now what happens? Maharaj says that what happens that when one concentration of his mind on Lord Sri Krishna, Maharaj says that it brings purity. Cheto Dharpanam Marjanam. So, birth, mercy of spiritual master, concentration of the mind unto Lord Sri Krishna, the result is that it brings purity in one's life. And then Maharaj says that how Parikshit Maharaj used his exemplary way to use power at the time when he had no shelter, his possession, his kingdom, his family, all of his royal position gone when he was cursed in a minute, and even his body, which was had only short time to live. Then what did he do? Maharaj so beautifully says that he used his power in a very virtuous way. And why? Because he was the person, he was not attached to anything else, because the whole life he has practiced to get attracted, concentrated mind, which is the focus, Krishna Matim Krishna, that he focused his mind unto Lord Sri Krishna. And Maharaj said that how did he handle the reversal? Maharaj liked this word reversal because he said that he never heard the word reversal. It is only once he heard from Srila Prabhupada first time. So he said probably in India, when the challenges comes in life, the term might be reversal. So now Maharaj said, how did Parikshit Maharaj handle the reversal? Because he was attached, concentrated mind unto Lord Sri Krishna, he was very successful handling the reversal in life. And what did he had that reversal? Because he was cursed, but actually he was so focused, he did not do anything else, but he got opportunity from divine arrangement from Lord for association from Sukadev Goswami. And what happened next? He did go more deeply and deeply, and he heard from Sukadev Goswami. And as he heard from Sukadev Goswami, he further concentrated his mind, which was already concentrated. And this is how Maharaj says that we should go more deeply in our Krishna consciousness. Sometimes there may be apparent misfortune in Krishna, when Krishna gives mercy in as a disguise, but it actually meant to intensify our focus on him. So that was the conclusion of Maharaj Matim Krishna. That is from the purport about Parikshit Maharaj. Then Maharaj goes furthermore that how Srila Prabhupada's example. Then what about us? Now this is the example of Parikshit Maharaj, Matim Krishna, but what to about us? So Maharaj always say, what about us? We are less than perfect. We are imperfect soul. Of course, Maharaj very humbly consider himself, but it is for all of us. Then what about next? Then how to concentrate mind further? And then there are question answer. The question, there is a beautiful question answer session. Almost half of the lecture goes into question and answer. It is a 651. Prob if it is required, we can I can summarize the second part of that, how Maharaj gives the application in terms of Srila Prabhupada example. Now for all of us cultivating Matim Krishna, then what is the next, what is the missing point that Maharaj was highlighting from his some example that he was giving from as a North American strategy development, and then how to concentrate your mind, and couple of questions we can summarize tomorrow, if that is okay. Shall we pause here for some discussion? That is how goes Shamkun Prabhu, or I just continue till 7 o'clock and finish this summary.
Maybe if you can just complete till 7 and we'll finish hearing the summary, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. So then His Holiness Rampaswami Maharaj gives the example of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's dealing with the counterculture at that time of America, where you know that just renounce the word, just renounce everything. And they still had some animalistic instinct that were being maintained. But Srila Prabhupada taught us, Maharaj says that Srila Prabhupada taught us, when one become a devotee, you must be very careful. And what is that difference between the person who actually practicing and then the attached materialist? Because everything what we are doing it for Krishna. Now, now what about us? How are we given this opportunity for cultivating Matim Krishna? His Holiness Rampaswami Maharaj says that by the mercy of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, every day we are given the chance to chant the name of Lord Hari, an opportunity to purify the mind. And Maharaj says that we might have either one or two or both. What are these one or two or both? These are the Prabhupada writes in the second paragraph that to become a pure devotee, one has to either take a birth, or by the mercy of Krishna, one gets guru. So whether we have this or that, and he says that Srila Prabhupada says it in all yoga system, the mind is very essential, because mind is the fulcrum which determines whether we go this side, or this side means the material side, or the other side, which is the spiritual side. And what you do with your mind is very important. So the next important point Maharaj says is application. And that is where he was giving an example that when they, as a strategy for the North American Krishna conscious group, he said that we come very enthusiastic, and then we come up with the different plans, and after that there is a silence. So what Maharaj was actually highlighting is that the important aspect is that even if one has this one or two or both of them, so that is birth and having the mercy of spiritual in terms of Lord Krishna's mercy, in terms of having association from spiritual master or initiation from spiritual master, most important aspect is that application. And now how to concentrate the mind further? With the further effort to concentrate the mind upon Krishna, it is generally happens with by association of the pure devotee and the message of pure devotee, which help us to concentrate the mind further. And Maharaj said that we want to purify inside. We want to moderate what is outside, but what is really important is to purify what is inside. So this is the additional step that required, is the effort that we make to apply that mercy of Krishna that gives us. And finally, before question answer, Maharaj says that Krishna gives us mercy in a very different way. It may look really like nice kind of mercy. Sometimes this mercy may be like very difficult kind of mercy, because Lord says, His Holiness Rampaswami Maharaj says that Krishna does not have a script which he read and he got to look like this, otherwise he's not merciful. No, he is always merciful. When we receive that mercy with the open heart, Maharaj says that how do we receive that mercy? And we receive that mercy with the open heart and apply that mercy in a way that are intended to be pleasing to Krishna. Very wonderful punching line Maharaj says that. that should be intended to pleasing Lord Sri Krishna. And that is where Maharaj says that we make advancement. It is like, so if not, then it is like letting go to controllership, doership, enjoyership, material mentality, and coming to the adopting the service mentality. And that is how Maharaj says that Mahaprabhu's prayer, that whatever you want to do, oh my Lord, you are do that, but you are my Lord eternally. So it is the concentration to purity. The steps goes, as Chaitanya Charitamrita says, that by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, the one or two steps, one comes to devotional service by hearing, by chanting, and associating with the pure devotees and serving. One's attentiveness leads to further purification of the heart. And then Maharaj punchline is that, so this change of heart through the cultivation of devotion to Krishna, and this is our message in the section of, in this section of Bhagavatam. So Maharaj said, let me repeat. So what is that? Change of our heart through cultivation of devotion to Lord Sri Krishna. And that is the message of this section. Next, then Maharaj begins question answer, and I heard a couple of questions, so I would summarize that. And I think still we have 4 more minutes. Now, the first question that, because Maharaj talked about facing difficulties, and then the first question was that uh, while facing any difficulties, sometimes it appears like there seems to be mood of desperateness, or even more than that. Then Maharaj answers very beautifully. He says that if my happiness, so my happiness means Maharaj is giving answer to that devotee who is asking. If happiness is determined by the circumstances, Maharaj says that it is a wonderful recipe for frustration. If we take shelter of that situation, because the situation keep changing, and if we our shelter is in the situation of the circumstances, today we have these circumstances, tomorrow it would be another circumstances. So our happiness is determined the circumstances, and then we have given our key of our happinesses to, which is a particular very wonderful recipe for frustration. Rather than we should take a shelter, because this is all asat, we should take a shelter of Sat. And what is the Sat? Maharaj gives. Sat is nothing but the scriptures and the scriptural teaching and the spiritual teacher. What does Maharaj says that? Scriptures, spiritual teachings, and the spiritual teacher. They point our thought or direction, or they take us by the hand and take us there. So nice. That's a love and that's love and compassion from the Acharya. So he was saying that the spiritual teacher take us there by and holding our hand and take us there. So does it mean that we don't take any action in that asat arena? This is very always Maharaj love that. No, it is not that we do not. Maharaj always says that we do not switch off our intelligence. Yes, we take some practical actions but in the mood to service to Lord Sri Krishna, even in that asat area. Whatever happens, Maharaj said that is Krishna's business. That's not our business. So Guru Maharaj gives the example of Parikshit Maharaj. He was cursed, but because of his long lifetime practice of taking shelter in Krishna, he took shelter in Krishna in the last very testing situation, and taking shelter in that which is a Sat, not which is Asat. If we take shelter which is asat, which is a fallible, Maharaj says that it is a wonderful setup for disappointment, sorrow, and grief. So that is how Maharaj says that one should come to the situation that one should take a shelter of sat. And the sat means guidance by scripture, guidance by spiritual teaching, and guidance by a wonderful spiritual teacher, and giving example of Parikshit Maharaj. And the second question was about the household activities, cooking and children. So there is then Maharaj says that how we cook, so that when we take the even if you go to the taking groceries, that our mood and thought should be that pleasing Krishna. And then the about the um, um, children, it is not just that I want my children to be nice because I am a good mother, but Maharaj says that it has much more deep than that. Here is a spirit soul. Maharaj gives a wonderful again um, point, tips for the parenting, that my responsibility is to take of this particular soul which Lord Krishna has given in my service, that my service is to take this soul to Krishna. So the sensitivity and the empathy and the consciousness, so wonderful words that Maharaj carefully uses. Sensitivity, empathy, and the consciousness that goes into the acts of being a mother are far deeper than you know. I don't want you to have a problem here. And so the same activities as it's not just about taking care of the child, but is about the change of consciousness. As one advances in spiritual life, that consciousness becomes more clear. Maharaj says more deeper, and on the spiritual platform, and then you can act and speak in a way that is very clear to you. At least that each thing that you are doing in your household duties is for dear Lord Sri Krishna. So these are the two questions that I just summarized, and the lecture about the last sloka of the chapter 3, where it is about dissolving the spiritual mind, dissolving the material mind, and how to do. Maharaj said Krishna's pastime, and 2.4.1, two important words, Satim and Krishna Matim, or Matim Krishna. Matim Krishna. Matim Krishna. Upadharyam Matim Krishna Autare Satim Vedhat. So Matim Krishna, and Maharaj focused, giving the example of Parikshit Maharaj. He exclusively chastity of devotee is only for Krishna, nothing else. And then Prabhupada's example, how he actually taught us, then cultivating Matim Krishna, giving the opportunity of chanting of Hare Krishna. And most important is that concentration by association and focusing the mind on Lord Sri Krishna. And that is how Maharaj goes into the question answer session. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Om Prasad Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. So how do we go, Prabhu? I do not know this format. We just pause here.
Yes, Prabhu, that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll tomorrow hear the second sloka onwards from His Holiness Om Prasad Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.